Alright, I'm still here at the Knap-in. I'm going to work on a point made from Dacite. Now this point was by request. It's a Vandenberg point. I can't make these videos very long because they take forever to upload, I found out, so hopefully I can do this quickly. I'm just going to take a chunk of Dacite and work on it. This is a steel rod, so it should make quick work of it. You may hear some noise in the background, some music or whatever too. Maybe some wind noises. So a Vandenberg is a pretty easy point, I think, is relatively speaking. As long as everything goes right with the Obsidian. I don't know how good the lighting is. It's still light enough out, I think. The hard part is just getting this thin down, and after that I'll just trim around the edges. There's no complex notching or anything on this point. I got a lot of stuff down here. I pick up a lot of material from other people. Some guy noticed there was like a little pile over here that looked like something else. All you guys that look in the background got some imagination. All right. Here we go. Let's see if I can do this without breaking it. The danger is a reverse hinge. This is almost like fluting it. It's a big turtleback. Now the Vandenberg points are not very thin, I think. They got some heft to them. As far as I could tell on projectilepoints.net, that's where I normally look at the arrowheads for ideas, or when someone does a request and I'm not familiar with the point style. They look like they were not super thin, which is a good policy when you're dealing with Obsidian. You don't want to make them really, really thin unless you've got lots of experience. And I had trouble with some Dacite earlier on other videos. This feels almost like the same stuff, although it came from a totally different person. But it's kind of like the black butter Obsidian stuff, which is probably actually just Obsidian, black Obsidian. Flintknappers call it Dacite or Dacite, but it's actually Obsidian, so I've been told. All right. Yeah, I'll try to do this in under 30 minutes. But I can't rush it because it'll get me into trouble. It looks like the steel is working okay. It's not crushing the edges. Although I am getting some step fracturing. I need to plan what I'm going to do for that turtleback. I was going to take a big flake there, but it didn't work that well. That worked better. It's a narrow point, so I got room. Yeah, if if I strike too hard, look what happens. I got a radial crack, and it scoops out too much. Yeah, that's better. Not too much force, so it didn't produce a radial crack, which is good. Can you see? I'm just attacking that thick area. I've been doing that all weekend for people so they can see how I attack the thick areas. That seems to be the biggest problem with the new guys, trying to get rid of the thick areas. They don't necessarily want to thin it down really thin. They just want to get rid of the really bad turtlebacks. A lot of times they're working with chunks, not thin flakes, but chunks of stone. And here at the Knap-in, I can pick up chunks of stone easily because no one wants to work them. And other people want to learn how to use that type of stone because it's easy to get those stone chunks. So I show them how I do it. The only problem is it's taking me years to figure it out. Years and years to figure out how hard I can hit and what I can get away with as far as the thick areas, thinning down those turtlebacks and stuff, or popping those off. Yeah, you can probably hear the background music. I don't know if I'll be able to monetize this video. I've already got one copyright strike on a random video. I don't know if I need to follow up on those copyright strikes. They'll just put a copyright strike sometimes because of the what I talk about. It might match some song lyrics or something because it was not an individual, it was a corporation who put the copyright strike on it, so it must have been a music company. Same thing will probably happen today. We'll see. Anyway, I stayed up late. A lot of guys stay up late during the nap-ins and just talk all night. Sometimes they'll nap and sometimes they won't. They're supposed to be napping and talking, yapping and napping. But a lot of times they just sit there and talk. They have all their tools out and everything, but they don't use them. They just talk, joke around and stuff. And as I lose light here in the campsite, I'll go to the knapping area, the knapping pit, because they got light down there. They have the lights on all night. At least with this Knap-in, you can stay as late as you want down in the knapping area. There are some Knap-ins that close up early, like regular business hours, because the park or whatever wants a limited access to the park. They don't want unlimited access. This one's on private property, so it's easy. It's a good deal. No camping fees. I should probably mention if there's camping fees on my Knap-in list. I'll post another update soon. I'm taking notes, and when I have enough changes, I'll post the update. All right, the glove is starting to get in the way. And the edge is kind of wonky, but I'll straighten it out as it gets more narrow. I forgot to check the dimensions on the Vandenberg. Some of them look kind of long, but I think there's a large range in size. A lot of these are resharpened, and some of them might actually have a bevel. I need to look into it further. I just looked at the point type really fast. I'm kind of doing this in my spare time, what little I have here at the Knap-in. A lot of people want to learn one-on-one, you know. They ask me if I can show them what to do with certain pieces of rock. They'll pick a really hard one. You know, it'll be like a rock challenge. I just had some quartzite given to me to see if I could do anything with it. It's Tennessee quartzite. It's pretty common here, this stuff. It's really, really tough. It's a chalcedony. I call it quartzite, but it's a chalcedony. So I was told. It's very common here. Well, not very, but where you find it, you find a lot of it. It's not just sparsely distributed. There's a lot of it. Where you do find it, there's a lot of it. So that's what I call fairly common. Did I say Tennessee? Hopefully I said Tennessee. There's a lot of guys here from Kentucky and from other states. They also have this kind of stuff. The chalcedony or the quartzite or whatever you want to call it. And of course other types of rocks. Stuff that looks like hornstone but isn't. I'm starting to call it fool stone. Fool stone, F-O-O-L stone, because it fools you. You think it's a high quality hornstone. It looks like a high quality hornstone. And the nodules look just like high quality hornstone, but it's not. It naps more like a rhyolite. It's very tough. This stuff here. Very tough. Not really pleasurable to nap. So I call it a fool stone. It fools you. There's a bunch of it in the napping area that people have been trying to nap, and they just leave it as waste because they can't do anything with it. And some guys will get confused and think it's the good quality Hornstone, and they get upset or they get discouraged that they can't even do anything with high quality Hornstone, or so they think. It's not that. It's the fact that that's not really high quality Hornstone. It just looks exactly the same, but it naps really bad. It's not like nature's heat treat. It's like nature's Rhyolite. Yeah. This is actual Rhyolite. And I don't know if it's from Tennessee or somewhere nearby, but most of this stuff I'm napping is local stone to this general area. And this is not bad. This type of Rhyolite, this greenish stuff, it's not too bad. So I'll be napping that, but not on video, because those pieces were given to me and I don't want to mess them up. This obsidian here, we have a bunch of this Dacite type obsidian in the campsite, so I can steal the debitage and nap some of it. Without issues. Let's see, is it working or is it focusing in on the background? I don't know. Even though I've got my glasses on and there's still daylight out, I can't really see very much. And when I look in the viewfinder, it always looks blurry, so I don't know. And the little yellow square that I use to focus in on the workpiece is jumping around. It's not keeping its focus on what I'm doing. Usually, it's always jumping around. So yeah, that's technology for you. The shards from this are not too bad. I'm not worried about these flakes flying everywhere. Indirect percussion causes a lot of flake flying. There goes a little focus on the yellow square. There you go. It starts to focus on my hand here instead of focusing on the workpiece. And then the background interferes. I gotta find that setting that hopefully has just one focus setting, and it just focuses on the foreground and not the background. Another thing is my battery power is down to 15%, so I got to finish this up quickly. I may not do a lot of pressure flaking on this, although I probably should to get it looking pretty. Is it really flakery? Some of the original flakes are there. I'm having to do a lot of abrading on this one. But once I get it thin enough, I'll just trim around the edges. And when I go down to the napping area, or the napping pit, I'll bring my phone charger, and it won't, hopefully it won't die while it's uploading. Last time it took 6 hours to upload a 30-minute video. That's what you get when you're out in the country. So I'm just thinning it now. This is all it is. I'm just trying to thin it down a little bit more and then get a final shape. Yeah, I was at 25% and I went down to 15%. What was that, like 15 minutes into the video? So I need to finish this up probably faster than 30 minutes. It's already 20 minutes. I'll just leave it thick. That's the rule. You want to do it quicker, you leave it thicker. Do it quicker, leave it thicker. Hopefully it's staying in focus if I stay down in this corner, so it's not focusing on my hands instead of the workpiece. If I have it up here like this in the middle, it focuses on the tops of my hands. Now some of you guys can pressure flake this and get long flakes with pressure. But with me, that requires a lot of grinding, a lot of edge preparation, and a lot of knapper's cramp. So I don't do it. It was fun. I entered a raffle today. I won a knife. Let's see. Yes, I do like modern knives. I like it. I won that in the raffle. All right. Let's get back to it. I don't want to get too distracted. And when I read the description of this point, it said the flake pattern was random, so that's all the better. So I just eliminated that step fracture and little bump right there with one flake, which is good. It's awesome. All right, so let's try to get this done really, really fast without speeding up too much. I'll choose my flakes carefully so I can minimize the number of flakes. And that should minimize the amount of time, in theory. And hopefully get some good flakes without step fracturing. That's the problem, you know, that's the issue. It sounds really good to try to get as few flakes as possible, but then you're trying to do a lot of bold, very risky flaking to remove a lot of material, and then if you don't hit hard enough, or if the edge isn't prepared for what you want to do with the big flake removal, you get step fractures, which in the long term, you know, increases the time it takes to finish it, because then you got to do damage control. Yeah, damage control. All right, so I'm almost done. I better be almost done. I just got to thin this down in the area where I'll be pressure flaking. Well, actually, I don't need to thin it down that much in the area that I'll be pressure flaking, because pressure flaking is not going to be thinning flakes. It's just going to be shaping flakes. I thin this stuff with indirect percussion and just shape around the edges. Yeah. And when I say this stuff, I'm talking about delicate material. Delicate material. Very delicate. At any time, you never know, it could break. Okay, so that's it for that. I'm going to pressure flake now. Sorry about that. Pressure flake with a spatula tool, and then I'll be done. I don't know if I'll be able to finish in 25 minutes, but let's give it a shot. Yeah, the description said random pressure flaking. It's a pretty straightforward tool. You can't see anything now, can you? Yeah, I definitely need to get a light set up if I'm going to do another video. I can probably do one at the knapping pit, but there's so many people there. I might be able to do one tomorrow night when everybody leaves and there's nobody in the knapping pit. I'm going to do a pointed base on this one. It says that it could be either a straight or rounded or pointed. I'll do a pointed one since that's the easiest for me, believe it or not. And it doesn't have notches, but it has indentations. Right, I think. Yeah, keep it thick. Keep it thicker, that makes it quicker. And of course I got a phone call. But I'll wait. I'm almost done. I'll take care of the phone call in a little bit. Can you see? I should be using 2 gloves. But it's not that sharp. These shards are not that sharp. They're not long and pointy. They're just little bitty flakes. Now this point was found in the, or is found on the coast of California. So hopefully I've got some material that is matching up with that area. Pretty straightforward, a little dart point. And I gotta look and see if these were beveled. If they are, sometimes, I am going to mention that in the description. I hope I can remember to look that up. If I can remember to look that up, I'll post it in the description of this video.
Like, we're gonna have to do it at some point. No, it's pretty much now. I mean, tomorrow we'll need coffee and those things.
All right, so that's close enough. Pretty simple, comparatively speaking. The only hard part was starting with a big chunk. And, you know, shaping it without having it snap or reverse hinge as I was thinning it from the base. Kind of like fluting it. Alright, so there it is. Vandenberg. Very nice. How would you haft it? I would haft it up to about there, and then I would have a little bit of sinew up on top on the blade to make a crisscross, and then wrap it around down below. I would put sinew up on the blade to crisscross it, just to hold it in place this way so it won't pop out. See how it's contracting stem, so I would haft it with a little bit of wrap up on the blade just so it doesn't pull out. But it may be designed to pull out easily once it's stuck in the wound. Who knows? All right. You know, pull out easy from the haft, not pull out easy as far as the whole thing goes. Okay, there you go.